Welcome to my channel. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let me tell you about something that happened a long time ago in one of the old Hmong villages. People don't like to talk about it now, but back then, it was all anyone could think about. Maybe it's best that people forget. Maybe it's just one of those things we aren't supposed to know too much about. You see, in the old days, there was one thing about our village. It was surrounded by dense forests on all sides. The kind of forest where the trees grow so close together you can barely see the sky above you. Now this forest wasn't just any forest. The elders always said it was alive. Not in the normal sense, but alive in a way that made people uneasy. They said you could hear it breathe at night when the wind wasn't blowing. People swore they heard voices singing sometimes, deep in the woods, even though no one dared to go out there after dark. But you know how young people are. Back then, we had a kid named Blong. He was maybe 16 or 17, and he always thought he was smarter than everyone else, always laughing at the elders' warnings, saying they were just trying to scare us. One night, there was a festival in the village. Everyone was celebrating, eating, and drinking. The whole place was alive with music and laughter. Blong got it into his head that it was the perfect time to prove everyone wrong. He told us he was going to walk into the forest and bring something back to show there was nothing to be afraid of. We all tried to talk him out of it. "Don't be stupid, Blong. The forest isn't a joke," I said. But he just laughed and grabbed a torch. "I'll be back in an hour," he said, grinning like an idiot. And just like that, he walked off into the woods. At first, we didn't think much of it. We figured he'd get scared and come running back, but an hour passed and then 2, and there was no sign of him. Some of the men wanted to go look for him, but the elders stopped them. "If he's foolish enough to go in there, let him find his own way out," they said. We all went to bed that night feeling uneasy, but what could we do? The next morning, Blong came back. He walked into the village like nothing had happened, with this smug look on his face. He didn't bring anything back though, which was strange because he'd said he would. "What happened in there?" I asked him. He just shrugged and said, "Nothing. Told you the forest is just a forest. You all worry too much." But something about him seemed off. He wasn't laughing or joking like he usually did. His face was pale and his eyes looked like they hadn't seen sleep in days. Over the next few days, Blong started acting stranger and stranger. He stopped talking to people, stopped eating with us, and spent all his time sitting outside staring at the forest. It was like he was waiting for something. One night I was lying in bed when I heard it, the singing. It was soft at first, like a lullaby, but it grew louder and louder until it felt like it was coming from everywhere. The worst part, it wasn't just one voice, it was dozens, maybe hundreds, all blending together into this haunting melody. I got up and went outside, and I wasn't the only one. The whole village was awake, standing in the dark, listening to the forest sing. And there was Blong, standing at the edge of the woods with his back to us. "Blong, get away from there," someone shouted, but he didn't move. He just stood there, swaying back and forth like he was in a trance. The singing grew louder, and then, just like that, it stopped. The silence that followed was so heavy, it felt like the air itself had been sucked out of the village. Blong turned around and looked at us, and I swear to you, he wasn't the same person anymore. His eyes were dark, almost black, and his face was twisted into this horrible grin. He didn't say a word, he just walked back to his house and shut the door. After that, things got worse. Blong's family said he wouldn't sleep at night. They'd hear him whispering to himself in some language they didn't understand. During the day, he'd disappear into the woods for hours and come back with scratches all over his arms and legs. People started saying the forest had taken him. Then one night, he disappeared for good. His parents said they heard the singing again, louder than ever, and when they went to check on him, his bed was empty. A search party went into the forest the next morning, but they didn't find him. What they did find was his torch, lying on the ground near a tree. The ground around it was covered in footprints, but not human ones. After that, The singing became a regular thing. Every few nights we'd hear it, always coming from deep in the forest. Sometimes it was soft, like it was lulling us to sleep, and other times it was so loud, it felt like it was shaking the village. And then people started disappearing. It wasn't just kids like Blong either. Adults, even elders, would go missing, and we'd find their belongings at the edge of the woods. Everyone knew what was happening, but no one wanted to say it out loud. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my father's old hunting knife and decided I was going to end it. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I thought I could fight whatever was in the forest. Maybe I just wanted to see it for myself. I walked into the woods, following the sound of the singing. The trees seemed to close in around me, and the deeper I went, the harder it was to breathe. And then I saw it. It wasn't a tree or an animal or anything I could explain. It was a presence, a shadow that seemed to move and shift like smoke, but with eyes that burned like fire. It was singing, and the sound was coming from everywhere and nowhere all at once. I don't remember what happened after that. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground outside the forest, covered in dirt and blood. My knife was gone and my clothes were torn to shreds. The elders told me I was lucky to be alive, but I didn't feel lucky. I felt empty, like a part of me had been left behind in the forest. The singing stopped after that night, but the village was never the same. People moved away, and the ones who stayed wouldn't go near the woods. As for me, I couldn't stay there anymore. The memories, the fear, it was too much. So, after a few years, I decided to leave. I packed what little I had and moved to the United States. I told myself it was for a better life, more opportunities, but deep down, I knew I was just running. Life here is different, busy, loud, and full of distractions. I've built a life for myself, work, friends, all the things I thought would help me forget. And for a while, it worked. The forest, the singing, all of it started to feel like a bad dream I could push to the back of my mind. But sometimes, late at night when the world is quiet, I hear it. At first, I thought I was imagining things. I'd sit up in bed, straining to hear, but it would be gone. Other times, it's faint, so distant it feels like it's coming from the edge of the world. But it's there, clear as day. The same haunting melody I heard all those years ago. I don't know how it found me. I'm thousands of miles away from that village, from that forest. But the singing doesn't care about distance. It's like it's part of me now, something I can't escape no matter where I go. I try to ignore it, pretend it's just the wind or my imagination. But deep down I know the truth. The forest may be far away, but it hasn't let me go. And every time I hear the singing, I wonder if it's calling me back, or if one day it'll come to me instead. But for now, I'm still alive, and I'm okay with that. I'll just live my life to the fullest. Thank you for listening to this video. I'll see you in the next one.